afternoon and welcome to another community update. I'm BNEWS Reporter Chris Flaherty and I'm here with Burlington Public Library Director Mike Wick to talk about some changes happening on the federal level that might be affecting our local libraries. Mike, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us what changes are happening at the federal level that are sort of trickling down to the library.
Well, let's talk about the federal and state changes since, before we get into kind of local challenges. The IMLS, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, it provided over $180 million in grants during the 2024 year. That money comes, part of that money, I should say, that's directed towards libraries goes to state libraries. So the State Library in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, they received $3.6 million of that. A portion of that goes into grants that go to individual communities. A portion of it goes into providing services for libraries throughout the Commonwealth. The dissolution or disruption in that IMLS disrupts all that the money coming to libraries in the state.
What was your initial reaction when you heard these were coming?
I had concern for the services that the Mass Board of Library Commissioners provide that all the residents, gain from. Of course, grants, future grants is a concern. That's not necessarily something that's guaranteed, though.
Yeah.
Grants are competitive. We may not have received those anyway, but there's certainly some things that we receive, that are essential. Overdrive, the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, they pay a large portion of the platform hosting fee, which subsidizes the different library consortia, because there's I think about 8 different library consortia in the state that all have overdrive, and so the Mass Board of Library Commissioners pay that fee, and it's a pretty hefty fee. There's also the Commonwealth Catalog, which is, I think, something really unique to the state of Massachusetts. All libraries, all public libraries are connected to this catalog, so you're able to, in one place, identify items that are in the collection and request them and get them delivered anywhere throughout the state. And databases. Databases is also a large chunk of the funding that the state provides as well. These certainly, the impact is much greater for communities that are smaller, have less funding. In Burlington, we're lucky, we're able to afford databases, but for some communities, these are the only databases that they have are funded through the state.
Right. So how are services in Burlington affected by this?
So certainly the loss of future grant opportunities is a big one, but then also the Mass Board of Library Commissioners ultimately decided that the cost-saving measures were going to be in removing access to databases. There's 21 databases that they provided that we no longer have access to. We're in the process of identifying any databases that we might pick up, through our local monies and funding in order to provide the databases that people are used to receiving.
So are these databases, they're just shut down completely?
Yeah.
They can only be accessible?
Wow. Yeah.
Are there any alternatives to these databases?
So some of them do have alternatives, some of them do not, and that's really what we're looking at. There's certain databases like legal forms. It's you want to make sure, especially if you're getting legal form, that those forms that you're receiving are on the up and up. They've been vetted, and so just going on the internet and finding a legal form, it could be somewhat dubious, depending upon the resource or the provider. We're looking at some of those databases that are unique in the services.
With the Institute of Museum and Library Services gone, are you getting any state level support?
So the state level support really doesn't come directly to libraries, with one notable exception, which is a state grants to libraries program. That state grants to libraries program is not funded through federal. That's all through state monies, and so that's has not been disrupted. The MBLC, as a result of the IMLS, though, they did see significant cuts because losing these federal monies. What they did receive was they received level funding from state agencies and the state budget. So they had to make some significant cuts in that.
All right. Now, I know these were announced in March. We have our big town meeting in May. Did this affect like your budget planning for fiscal year 2026?
Yeah. By that time, it would have been too late to go back in and review. So, what we had to do is we had to just rework our numbers, and we're reworking the numbers in terms of our circulating materials budget, looking to see if we have any ways that we can create some room for these databases.
Okay. Do you think this will have any indirect effect on staffing? I know it's just like programs and databases.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that at the local level in Burlington, no. There's no staff who are funded through federal grants. That is a concern at the state level, though. The Mass Board of Library Commissioners, they do have many staff who provide services for communities throughout the state. There's individuals who, for example, oversee the distribution of grants for building funds, and many other things like statistics, like services, children's services, reference services, and support. I guess we'll have to see what future years bring for their budget.
And now it's been a month since these cuts went into effect. How has life been at the library?
We've communicated a lot of this to the public. We did hear from some people, there's a lot of dismay, a lot of concern. And we're hoping that, like I said, we're able to kind of fill some of these gaps through purchasing some of these databases that people have come to rely on. I mean, I could name one right now, Heritage Quest. That is a very popular, you're aware of it, very popular genealogical research tool. That many people use. We're going to be looking at purchasing that. There's certain people who they have felt the disruption, but they understand our position and our situation.
I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but back in the day, like when we had school projects, like we would have to go to the library and use the databases and stuff to research things. Now, probably not seeing that now because it's summer, but we might see more of that in the fall.
Yeah, it definitely drops off during the summer. Like I said, a lot of these databases may be certain libraries in the Commonwealth's only databases. We're lucky for us, these aren't our only databases. We do receive databases from our library consortia as well as databases that we locally purchase. It's a pretty big impact on libraries statewide.
Has this affected any of your special programs and events? We were just talking about how busy you guys were with like the Whale-mobile this summer. I think you have mini golf this weekend.
Potentially future. Some of the larger programs that we do are funded through grants. I think that what we're seeing across, across libraries at large and other institutions at large is that competition for grants just amped up a lot more. Because there's a lot less grants that are available through federal monies. So now, it's a smaller pool to pull from. And so hopefully we won't see that in the future. There's nothing that we were planning that was impacted in the immediate future. But I think it's definitely the loss of possibilities that we have.
Yeah. And just going forward, how are you preparing for any other potential impacts or knock on some wood, future budget cuts?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's difficult to predict because we don't receive these monies directly. They come to a state agency and the state agency decides what to do with it. There's certain things that the state agency does that we can't replicate. We'd never be able to replicate. For example, the Commonwealth Catalog, we can't build something up from the ground that connects all the libraries throughout the state. Things like Overdrive, if they pulled back their support of the platform funding for that, then that would trickle down to our library consortia, the Merrimack Valley Library Consortia. They would have to absorb those fees, and then of course that would trickle down to the individual member libraries, and so we would all be paying a greater amount in the end. So more than likely, what that would mean is higher membership fees, and so once we see that, we'll have to reply. Until then, unfortunately, I'm kind of in a difficult situation where I really wouldn't know what to prepare for.
Yeah. Have you heard from other local libraries how they're handling it, like maybe Woburn, Lexington?
Yeah, what we're looking to do for databases specifically, and this is why it's taking a little bit longer for the process, is because the Merrimack Valley Library Consortia sometimes helps us with coordinating purchases. So they will get a kind of cooperative contract. It's not necessarily a contract that is funded through Merrimack Valley Library Consortia, but it's whatever libraries are interested in purchasing. It usually brings that cost down more because there's more libraries that are participating. So they're going through and they've asked us to identify, basically our top databases. And so they're going and attempting to negotiate on our behalf to get the lowest costs that they can for databases, and then we would cooperatively purchase that. That's pretty much our libraries at large's response.
So it's not like every library for himself.
Yeah. And I think that's a great advantage that we have in the state of Massachusetts is that there are many resources. In other states, you may just have a county system. And so, that library is standing alone. In state of New Hampshire, each individual library is kind of on their own in some respect. And so, I've spoken with some libraries in the state of New Hampshire, and they're definitely feeling the pinch a lot more because those monies were funding really essential services that they had come to rely on, because without those state services, there's not many services beyond that available to them.
That's a lot to process over a summer vacation.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear that the library, is still surviving and thriving, again, with all the great programs and events you guys are throwing on. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've said this many times. I feel very lucky for working for a municipality like Burlington. I think the people are wonderful supporters. The residents support the libraries greatly. Certainly we see that with the turnout for our programs. And fiscally, we've been very grateful and very lucky that the townspeople of Burlington, feel comfortable with the way that we've been spending their money and providing them the services that we have. So greatly appreciate it. And I love working here.
Awesome. Mike, thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Good luck
Chris.
to the future. We'll be talking soon.
Sounds great.
Yep. And thank you all for watching. Don't forget to support your local library. This has been Community Update with BNEWS Reporter Chris Flaherty. Until next time.